Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I was doing my own. That's just a question. That's not a title. That's a black person or a Catholic, right? And my favorite line in that was, would you be any less biased with a black person?
אני עושה מה שאני רוצה. Leah would appreciate it when saying hello to your friend. Shanice. That's it, you're good.
Dad, they're way up there. Yes, you're so close.
And there was another dad doing it over there. They're constantly pulling out cameras and recording things, and it's weird.
Are you done?
Like mundane moments.
Are you done?
Are you done?
Are you going to be Helen Thomas?
Yeah. All the Jews need to go back to...
It says in your program, following a welcome and greetings, that I am going to offer some comments. And actually, before I offer those comments, I have to make an announcement. There's something been left off of the program, and it hurt me. When I leave the stage, we are going to hear the first movement of Brahms' Quartet, Opus 60 in C minor. The musicians are Lila Lowe Baynor and Eli Mendel, members of this class. Rising.
A truly extraordinary mind and heart, Grace Dunham.
I have to say I definitely wasn't expecting such a lovely introduction, but good evening. Last month I was at school on a Sunday for sketch comedy rehearsal, and there was a break when I was not needed. I didn't have anyone to hang out with, so I ended up wandering around the building by myself for around 45 minutes. I walked up the stairs and I stopped on every floor. I actually snuck into the library because one of the librarians left the door open. I peeked into some classrooms, and finally I ended up in the 12th floor gym. All of the lights were off, and it was completely silent except for the sound of the wind rattling things around on the roof. And I just stood right down in the middle of the room, or sat down actually, and in one of those strange and kind of embarrassingly powerful moments of epiphany, I realized exactly what it was that I wanted to share with all of you tonight. because walking through that empty building on a Sunday, I encountered more memories and more versions of myself than I even know what to do. It forced me to dig around in the trash until I found it. And then I went to the 7th floor, to the bio workroom, where we collectively put condoms on plastic penises and learned about hermaphrodites in the 8th grade health class. And then down the steps to the 5th floor, to 5-1, where last year we had our first college meeting. That was also my 3rd grade classroom. So I learned how to register for the SATs, standing in the same place that I used to lie on the rug with Eli Mandel and listen to Michael Gruber read us passages from the Iliad. And on the 4th floor, there was room 4-1, which was my 2nd grade classroom. It's also where, in 6th grade, Charlotte Estelle, Emma Schindler, and I tied Gus Jacobs to a chair, whipped him, and wouldn't let him go until he told me whether or not Dash Davidson had a crush on me. Fallen in love in there, and we have grown apart, we have changed, we have grown up, and we have all done it inside those same 4 walls. I love that building. I love everything and everyone inside it so much that when I speak about it, standing here right now, it literally makes my heart flutter and my legs go weak. And I have this urge, there's this urge that I've been having for the past few weeks to just run to the corner of Pierpont and Clinton and just stand there and hug the building, just squeeze that tall, gray, weird former men's club and just hug it and not let go. And the only thing I can compare that feeling to is the first day of kindergarten, when I stood at the door of the classroom with my arms wrapped around my mother's legs, and I sobbed because I didn't want her to leave. And of course, eventually,
clarity echoed in my head. He told me that St. Anne's is very susceptible to nostalgia because we rely on intangible things. I have become increasingly aware of these intangible things and of their effect on the actual as I confront the end of my St. Anne's career. I will always be a St. Anne's kid, of course, but in a few months I will also be a Wolverine. I'm never again going to have the conversation, oh, where do you go to school? St. Anne's. Oh, is that Catholic? I don't think I understood until maybe even a week or so ago that the end would ever come, but now looking forward, seeing no more St. Anne's in front of me, I have realized that the St. Anne's ethos really does translate not only in our intellectual abilities, but in how we treat ourselves and each other. Always stood there.
Why sun-colored, as if awake in the midst of sleep? You that wander, so he said, on the bushy plain, forget so soon, but I set my traps in the midst of dreams. I knew from this that the blue ground was full of blocks and blocking steel. I knew the dread of the bushy plain and the beauty of the moonlight falling there, falling as sleep falls in the innocent air. In this poem, Stevens is talking about the perils of a life of the imagination and the impossibility of separating it from the real world. The narrator, wandering through the moonlit plain of his dreams, suddenly encounters the berserk, a creature of reality, harsh and unyielding. The presence of the berserk partially awakens the narrator from his stupor, allowing him to both see the perils of his personal world and to gain a greater awareness of its beauty. Like the speaker in the poem, I've always been an observer at heart. In kindergarten, I would hang back with my adult caretakers, discussing with them the movements of my peers as they played cops and robbers, or which Amazonian riverfish was my favorite that day. In lower school, I would talk for hours with Leah, devising increasingly bizarre analogies, allegories for relationships between people we knew, documenting scandal from the depths of a sleepover party. My group of friends in middle school had an ongoing role-playing game in which we were each a nation occupied by a different sort of animal.
Third grade tumbling show. As I stood there, I couldn't help but listen to this song the kids kept singing over and over again, though their voices weren't nearly as good as Dan Bergner's. The only line I could really hear was, "The lovers, the dreamers, and me." It made me think how at St. Anne's, whether on the stairs, in the classroom, or doing somersaults, We are the lovers, and we are the dreamers. Back when Cadman Plaza was a giant dust bowl, we would all go out there during lunch to eat and run around. So while most of my friends were off playing real sports, or at least as real as any St. Anne's kid can play them, I remember Josh, Asher, and I used to dig into the gym bags and make up games with all of the unused items. I can still see Josh wearing jump ropes wrapped around his arms and legs, 2 plastic cones on his feet which caused him to waddle, and a giant orange cone on his head. Behind him slowly followed Asher with 2 frisbees turned upside down on his feet, pushing himself along with a wiffle ball bat. You don't even want to know what I was wearing. The walls that we create, these we will have to infinity and beyond. And now, here we all are, with no time left. But it doesn't matter, because all along we've been spending this time doing what we love. We've been writing haikus, running with cones on our heads, having fun, learning, imagining, making art, loving and dreaming, and doing all of these alongside each other. I don't know if you guys know this, but we don't get grades at St. Anne's. And so I'd now like to end my speech with the last lines of some of the reports I've gotten, because I think they sum up those final moments of all those amazing years. At St. Anne's, our teachers, our friends, and our environment encourage us to do anything and to be anything. This place belongs to us. We are the architects of our own time and moments and memories. Ronnie Asbell, 5th grade. Jeremy is a great puppet maker. He should be very proud of his puppets. I am. Jason Asbury, 3rd grade. Jeremy has a lovely singing voice and is always ready to learn new melodies.
Are really amazing people, and your accomplishments in your St. Anne's tenure have really put you all in the pantheon of the greats. And it wouldn't be a lie to say that this is one of the best classes to ever graduate from St. Anne's. Now I know it's a cliche to say that, but there's great truth in that matter, and my classmates, they know it themselves. To list all of the accolades would be a futile attempt at trying to display how great we really are, but I'll list some of them anyways, just so you can get an idea. Just take a look at the St. Anne's Ram, our newspaper this year. Yeah. The Ram was very good, as many of you have known. The last issue was, 28 pages? That's like 4 times the length of the longest previous Ram before that. The spam page was I think it was like the best spam page of all time.